She was promised youth, beauty, and perfection, but the price was her very existence. As Elizabeth Sparkle's younger, flawless double takes over her life, their fragile balance shatters into a nightmarish battle for control. But when ambition collides with obsession, the result is something far more horrifying than either could have imagined. A grotesque, monstrous fusion of their identities, staggering onto a live broadcast as the world watches in terror. Elizabeth Sparkle was once a famous Hollywood actress, known for her beauty and charm. But as she reaches her 50th birthday, she finds herself fading into obscurity. Her last claim to fame is her long-running aerobics TV show, but even that is taken away from her. The show's producer, Harvey, cruelly fires her, bluntly telling her that she is too old for the audience to find her desirable anymore. Shocked and devastated, Elizabeth drives home, struggling to process what just happened. On the way, she sees a huge billboard of herself being taken down, a painful symbol of how the world is erasing her. Distracted by the sight, she loses control of her car and crashes. She wakes up in the hospital, injured but alive. As she lies there, lost in despair, a young nurse secretly hands her a flash drive. The nurse whispers that it contains information about something called the substance, a mysterious underground product that promises a younger, more beautiful, more perfect version of oneself. Curious and desperate, Elizabeth watches the video on the flash drive. It shows a dark, secretive laboratory, where a scientist explains that the substance is a serum that can create a youthful version of a person. The process involves injecting a one-time activator serum, which causes the body to generate a younger self that will physically separate from the original body. However, there are strict rules. The two bodies must switch every 7 days, no exceptions. The inactive body will remain unconscious, kept alive within 4 food supply. The younger version needs daily stabilizer injections, extracted from the original body, to prevent decay and deterioration. Ignoring the risks, Elizabeth orders the substance. When it arrives, she nervously injects herself. Within moments, she begins to shake violently, convulsing in pain. A deep slit forms on her back, stretching open as if something is breaking free. Then, emerging from within her own body, a younger, stunningly beautiful version of herself is born. This new version names herself Sue. She is everything Elizabeth once was, radiant, youthful, and full of life. As Elizabeth recovers from the process, she quickly learns how the system works. Every week, she and Sue must switch places. While one is awake, the other remains in a deep sleep, completely unaware of time passing. At first, Elizabeth enjoys the experience. Sue, her perfect younger self, reintroduces her to the world as a fresh new star. When Sue auditions for Elizabeth's old TV show, the producers fall in love with her instantly. She becomes the new face of the show, and the audience is captivated by her charm and energy. But as Sue's fame skyrockets, Elizabeth starts to feel left behind. Whenever it is her turn to be awake, she feels more isolated, unwanted, and physically weaker than before. Sue, on the other hand, embraces excess and luxury, partying non-stop and indulging in a reckless lifestyle. Sue is soon offered the biggest opportunity of her career, hosting the New Year's Eve show, one of the most prestigious live broadcasts in the country. However, as her success grows, she starts to resent the weekly switch. She doesn't want to return to the old, fading version of herself. One night, as the time for their scheduled switch approaches, Sue ignores it. She is too busy partying and bringing a man home for casual sex. This delay has serious consequences. Since Elizabeth is trapped in the unconscious state for too long, her body begins to rapidly age. When she finally wakes up, her right index finger is noticeably wrinkled and frail. Panicked, Elizabeth contacts the substance supplier, who warns her that staying in the younger body for too long will cause permanent damage. If Sue continues to delay the switch, Elizabeth will age at an accelerated rate. Their relationship begins to fall apart. They no longer see each other as the same person. Elizabeth hates Sue for treating her body carelessly and pushing the limits of the transformation. Sue is disgusted by Elizabeth's weakness and refuses to be dragged back into her aging body. Things reach a breaking point when Sue hoards the stabilizer fluid and refuses to switch back at all. She wants to live permanently as Sue, leaving Elizabeth trapped in her decaying form. Now 3 months have passed. It is the day before the New Year's Eve show, and Sue has completely run out of stabilizer fluid. Her body is starting to break down, her skin is losing its smoothness, and she can feel something inside her weakening. Panicked, she reaches out to the substance supplier, who coldly reminds her that she must switch back to replenish the supply. There is no other way to sustain herself. Sue reluctantly agrees and performs the switch. But when Elizabeth wakes up, she finds that her body has become horrifyingly deformed. She is now almost unrecognizable, her spine is twisted, her skin is loose and sagging, and she is nearly bald. Furious and desperate, she decides to take revenge. She gets her hands on a deadly serum designed to terminate Sue permanently. However, at the last second, her deep need for admiration makes her hesitate. Instead of killing Sue, she revives her, keeping both of them alive. Sue, realizing what Elizabeth was about to do, immediately attacks and kills her. With Elizabeth gone, Sue confidently heads off to host the New Year's Eve show. Without Elizabeth, Sue's body continues to rot. She starts decaying faster, her flesh sagging unnaturally. Terrified, she injects herself with leftover activator serum, hoping to create a fresh, younger version of herself. But something goes horribly wrong. Instead of a perfect new body, she mutates into a horrific creature, a grotesque fusion of both Elizabeth and Sue. This monstrous being, known as Monstro Elisivu, has both of their faces merged together in a nightmarish form. Still desperate to be admired, the creature puts on a mask made from a poster of Elizabeth and stumbles onto the live New Year's Eve stage. As the cameras roll, the mask falls off, revealing the monstrous face beneath. The audience screams in terror. Chaos erupts as they violently attack her. Amon cuts off her head, but another deformed head grows in its place. Her arm snaps off, sending blood splattering over the crowd. The stage is in complete chaos. The horrifying creature flees the studio but collapses into a pile of flesh and blood. Elizabeth's original face peels away from the gore, crawling toward her old star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. As she lays there, she hallucinates that the world is adoring her once again. She smiles one last time before melting into a puddle of pulp. The next morning, a floor scrubber casually wipes away the last traces of her existence. And just like that, the once great Elizabeth Sparkle is completely erased from the world. Subscribe to our channel. It will motivate us to bring more movie recaps for you.